The Rockets haven't been up to par this season, especially in comparison to the last time we saw them. With one hamstring away from the franchise's first title since Hakeem, the decision to let go of both Trevor Ariza and Mbah Moute was one that worried many. Subtracting two of the team's best perimeter defenders didn't seem like a great move, especially considering the switch-heavy defensive system that Houston built their identity on. Ariza was understandably let go as he went to chase a payday to the tune of $15 million in Phoenix. Mbah Moute was let go in a regrettable fashion. He returned to the Clippers on a deal $2 million more than what Houston could offer. Despite that, the Rockets added a range of capable and long defenders that are tasked to maintain the top 7 defense from last year. James Ennis, Michael Carter-Williams, yeah, that ain't working out, and Gary Clark are all guys that fit into that roughly 6'7" to 6'9" Goldilocks zone when it comes to switchable and efficient defenders. Their close to absurd attempts in the acquisition of Jimmy Butler shows, however, that they're feeling the effects of a weakened personnel. That goes beyond the players, however. The head defensive assistant retired just before training camp, leaving the duties to next-in-line Roy Rogers. At its surface, a move like this seems negligible, but when the name it revolves around is Jeff Bzdelik, the root of the problem becomes a bit more identifiable. One search is all it takes to see that Jeff isn't just your average guy. You see adjectives like genius, mastermind, guru. He was the guy that was the architect of the franchise's defense. Mike D'Antoni said of his leaving.
Again, there's a human side of it.
Sure.
And selfishly, yeah, I want you here. I don't care if you're miserable or not. I want you here, or I don't care if you got other things to do. I want you here because it's important to me. Well, that's not fair. That's not fair to him.
Eric Gordon.
Losing Bzdelik is, big loss for us. He brings a different attitude. He just brought a different edge. He'll harp on you, tell you what you need to do defensively, and he was great at making adjustments. So.
There are multiple reports of Bzdelik that praise him, ranging from Pat Riley to nearly every single GM in 1998. That's not somebody you can really replace that easily. When he came into Houston as a primary defensive coach, they were a bottom third defense in the league, manned by the figurehead of bad defense, James Harden. 2 years later, behind the efforts of Daryl Morey, he was able to forge a top 10 defense in the league that held the Golden State Warriors to 6 points below their average in the Western Conference Finals. He implemented the switch-everything scheme and a tough-minded culture that seeped into the roster, which could be seen by the way they played last year. With the additions of multiple players to a place like that, without the orchestrator to mesh together this different unit, makes for a team that's a little lost. Carmelo, who the Rockets are now cutting ties with, makes Houston one of the worst on defense in the league. When he doesn't play, they're one of the best. Cutting him will mean that they focus more on the scheme that they committed to and succeeded with last season. With a lineup that doesn't rely on Carmelo for offense, bench or starting, the defense in turn is much improved. The challenge in that, however, is maintaining an elite level defense for longer periods of time. This defense doesn't have the experience that the veterans in Ariza and Mbah Moute had, and this is a 28-year-old who's finally finding his way into consistent playing time in the league. Michael Carter-Williams is still finding ways to depreciate value, and Gary Clark is a rookie. For the Rockets to get back into a defense that can rival the Warriors, considering their immense levels of talent, they need all the help they can get, especially after a start that leaves them out of the playoffs. While the team is undoubtedly going to find their step before the playoffs begin, the return of Bzdelik and the cutting of Anthony will be much appreciated by the franchise and fans alike.